Hi, welcome to session 6 of Ascension, Ebb and Flow. Enjoy.
We fought a dragon. We did manage to win against the dragon. It was not undead, not cursed. It seemed to be corrupted and taken over, like something else was controlling it. We managed to put the sad rock in the orifice of the water and managed to get that cleared up. We headed back to Retris and made sure that everybody was doing okay there. We found out everybody was having clean water to have after that point. So the sickness seems to be gone for the time being. We got to... As we touched the stone, each of us saw different things. We don't quite know exactly what that is yet. We know that Emilia has a lot of siblings. And Emilia thinks she's not alive. Mal had to go off somewhere else. So we are currently in Ember's friend's home where we got to sleep and we're getting ready to travel, and we're going to head to Noyrys.
Yes, thank you much. So you're right, you all find yourselves still there in Valia's home. And Malin, his father, did have to take off. It was a bit of a heated exchange between Malin and his father as he found out some things that his father had been keeping from him. But they did head off back in the direction of the airship that you all had parked out in the forest clearing, not far from Retris there. And you all do find yourself back there with Valia, and you had discussed heading to Noyrys, which is near where Emilia is from, to see what else can be done with the sad rock in that part of the country. And that is where you all find yourselves.
So how do we get to Noyrys?
Well, and this is Valia chimes in. There's a couple of options, I think, based on what risks you're willing to take. There are major highways that, of course, run through the country. The closest running out of Ratius would be the highway of Elam, which is E-L-A-M. She doesn't say that, I'll spell it. And that one would take you most of the way there. It would curve back into another similar type of highway. That one would take a little while, but it is a highway. It is generally safer than straying from the path, but Ember, you're of course comfortable straying from the path, so, and you others may be as well. You could also go directly there. Noyrys is basically due north of where we are. There's a bit of wilderness to cross. Mountains, forest, maybe a bit of desert as you approach the city, but that's an option as well.
Is the highway to Elam very crowded?
I haven't traveled on it much myself, but generally it is. It's the main vein of transportation. It's used by solo travelers, all sorts of groups, caravans, merchants. I believe there's even some permanent merchant establishments and little settlements people have formed alongside it to cater to travelers. So generally quite busy.
That's a bit nerve-wracking.
Say above table from a game mechanic standpoint, the way I have it set out, you can take any route you want. But if you take the highway, it is 7 days. And if you take the direct route through the wilderness, it is 5 days. And there will be daily possibilities. So that's the choice to be made. And of course, if you wanted to start with one and decide you wanted to veer, completely up to you all.
What are you two most comfortable with?
I don't really think about comfort very often these days. I think there's pros to both. I like the idea of talking to people, seeing if there's anything else going on somewhere that is like this, you know? Because that temple, it was just a taint. Surely there's not just isolated incident, right? That's always how I think, is that there's always a domino effect, and if you don't look, you miss where it falls. But I also think the wilderness is pro, because I get tired of talking to people. So, I talk to people, you learn, or you go by yourself and you have peace. Either one, I am fine.
I will go where you guys go.
Well, we're going to your home, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have a preferred method?
There are lots of people on the highway, which can be good to blend in if there's a problem. But we also might run into not nice people, like the people with the masks and the cloaks. But the forest hasn't been very nice to us lately. And then we're all alone. But there might not be masked people.
But I wonder if we could learn more about the masked people. Maybe take the
I like it. Let's try to learn. See what is going on. And if it gets to be too much, we just go to wilderness.
I think that's our best shot too.
Just out of curiosity, can you just fly anywhere? Did you just save that for a moment, or is it from now on, because we know and you know that we know, you'll just be flying?
She looks nervously over at Valia, because Valia did not know that. And I don't think it's best to fly anywhere.
Did you fly back to town here, or
No.
do you mean when you flew from Ratius?
We don't have that kind of flying thing either. Not anymore. And I think it's kind of obvious that she's trying to not lie to Valia, but not tell her.
Does she look the least bit troubled by that predicament?
Ember?
Yeah.
I think slightly she's trying to choose her words to where she's not lying to her friend.
Valia is going to attempt to insight just because you look a little bit uncomfortable. And you said you showed that on your face a bit. And you can, I'd say persuasion or deception, or however you want to flavor it.
She's not trying to lie, though. Either way, it's a +0. A natural 1.
So did Valia. A natural. You both just intently stare at each other, gleaning nothing from this interaction.
Hi, my love.
Well, you're right. I do believe Malin and Noyrys, a nice gentleman. I do believe they took your means of travel, feeling you capable on your own. So I guess by foot it is, but there may be some things I can help you out with. Give you some. I gave him a bit of a goodie basket on his way out, so I think you all deserve the same. And she sort of rummages about her hovel and puts together some things for each of you. And she does come and hand each of you a little satchel. And in it is just really two main things. You'll find a greater potion of healing and 250 gold. And that is for each of you.
Nice.
Thalia, this is too much.
We don't have a lot of need for that kind of currency out here. We all we're very communal here in Retros, and you all will need this way more than we do, based on where you're going.
Are you certain?
Absolutely certain. Plus, you've all done us a great deal of service. Before you depart, if you would entertain me a bit, how much do each of you all know about the war that happened all those years ago?
What war? How many years? Just to make sure it's clear what you ask.
Of course, my apologies. The war that shaped our land, the war between the Celestials and the Mortals. It was 700 years ago, but we're still reeling a bit.
Why do you ask?
What you all have been through and what you just saw in this temple and everything happening, maybe I can share a bit about what I know to help you all. If you would just entertain an old woman and her stories.
Oh yeah, you should act like we know nothing. Just so you can have a clean slate for whatever stories you want to tell.
Well, I appreciate it. And she invites you all to take a seat if you want to, essentially make yourself comfortable. I thought maybe whatever I can impart on you might be helpful along the way. In case whatever you're doing, we know it's related to Drasana, so maybe it's related to more. But when the mortals first rose and turned their anger towards the gods, that was the spark that lit the uprising. But that's only the name that the mortals gave to the conflict. As I'm sure you know, words can be as powerful as weapons, if not more so. And to many of the gods' devout worshippers, this was no mere uprising. They instead referred to it, and I'm sure some still do refer to it, as the heretical aggression. Such opposing meanings assigned to the same conflict. They say that not all gods believed in the necessity of the war. I'm sure Our Lady Drasana did not, but there are many other powerful gods, and each with their own machinations and designs. And nor did all the mortals seek war, but those in power did throw our land into the fires of war nonetheless, and we all paid the cost in blood. So whether uprising or aggression, the outcome was the same, near total annihilation. But the true mystery of the war, as far as many are concerned, and myself, something that's been of particular interest to me, is not in how it ended, but rather how it didn't. Most of accounts of the war say it ended in a stalemate. No winners, only losers. The mortal armies were led by the rulers of all these different cities, and by one powerful queen in particular. When she died, the mortal mission suffered greatly and really began to unravel. In hindsight, the hope of mortal victory died with her that day. But the gods suffered greatly too, and so soon after, the fighting just ended. No treaties, no negotiations, it just stopped. So, I say all that to say I have my own theory as to why. I think the world rests on a balance, on one that's very sensitive to the ebb and flow of power. And if power is disturbed, then all of Seraphim suffers, including the gods. I think many of the gods came to see this, and I'm sure some of the mortals did as well. And power is really at the center of that balance. It's at the center of the scales, power and influence. Because you see, mortal generals seem to believe that gods were somehow fundamentally different and incompatible with mortal success. And the belligerent gods saw mortals as weak and insignificant. But I think they were both wrong. I believe we're no different from each other. When I pray to Drasana, my devotion gives her power. When her bountiful gifts of life feed our world, she gives us power. We empower each other, and we both benefit. But that power is not inherent, nor is it fixed. If a mortal were to seek power, seek to grow their influence, they may find themselves on the other side of that balance. But those are really just the thoughts that creep into my mind in the quiet hours, the ramblings of an old woman. I just say that to say, this stone, this relic you all have come into possession of, it seems very powerful. And though it did save Retros and save us here today, there may be those that seek it for more selfish, nefarious ends. So, just be careful. Take care of yourselves and each other.
Are you saying you believe that mortals could become gods? Because we're not cut any differently from each other?
In a certain manner of speaking, I think so. I can't say I've seen it happen, but I do think there's a balance, and the balance could be disturbed. And I don't think there's anything stopping the sides from switching. Yes.
Ma'am, do the stories talk about what happened to the angels of the gods?
None that I've heard. No. Now, I do know that, in general, angels are sort of supportive of the gods, generals, things of that sort. So, it could play into their power, it could play into their influence. But no, none that I've heard. Why do you ask?
I just read something somewhere one time, and I just hadn't heard it mentioned.
That's understandable. There are lots of writings and opinions and analysis of the war and lots of different accounts, lots of conflicting information. I don't know. I'm of particular interest of it, so I will see what I can find out about these angels. You've sparked my curiosity.
You don't have to trouble yourself.
Well, I'd just like to read, so it's just fascinating. I will. Angels. And she sort of stares off out the window of her home there. She sort of chews on that word a bit.
Have we ever read anything on angels? Or has it always just been about gods?
How well read would you say that Ember is? We might roll for this.
Maybe not so much recently, but I think she was very well read growing up.
Yeah, let's do a religion check, if you would. Religion or history, your choice.
Religion, please.
Go for it.
15 plus 12 for 27.
Yeah, you've read a thing or two about angels. I would say what you remember is they are, it's not so much like a tier, but almost like some sort of tier of celestial power. You have gods at the top of it, and angels are in these sort of supportive, not quite administrative, but almost like some sort of sub-tier of celestial. Many of the most powerful gods do have angels that support them in different ways. And I would say with a 27, you've probably read a few accounts of angels being seen and fought against in battle in that war.
Do I have any names?
No names.
What side did they fight for? I'm assuming the god side.
All the accounts you have read, yes. They were on the side of the gods.
Okay. I will share that with everybody. Just what I know of angels, at least.
I guess that would make sense then. This is Valia speaking. That the gods would have a power structure like that, and different people at different tiers.
What happens when an angel dies?
Now that I don't know. And I would say, Ember, none of what you had read or knew concerned with the death of an angel. I would imagine, Valia again, I would imagine it would at least shift the balance of power if a god were to lose angels.
Do we know of any angels now?
Is that to GM? Or is it to Valia?
Tavalia.
To Valia. Again, Valia really didn't know much about angels. What she knows now is what you had told her. So no, she would not know any of particular ones now.
So you really think that there's possibility of someone wanting this stone because of the old war?
Possibly. And there's certainly still animosity there. There are still those that are very devout. There are still those that are very against the gods as well. I think it's simmering because, again, it never really ended. It just stopped. I don't have proof. It's just what I think.
Do you think the Crimson Robes want it for that reason? And she's looking at everybody when she asks that question.
Who knows? If we see another one, we could ask.
I hope we don't see another one.
Well, I don't mean to hold you all. I know you have a long journey ahead of you. I'll try to answer any questions I can. If you have any, and of course make yourself at home and take your time. But if we can do anything else to help you before you depart, of course we want to. Again, you've done so much for us here.
I hate to ask for another favor. Do you by chance have any old mirrors? Ornate hand mirrors?
An old mirror? Possibly. And she gets up and she goes back to a different room in the house, and you hear sort of this shuffling of junk, more or less, as she looks. And if you would, let's roll some sort of chaos die for this. Let's do a D100, just for fun. Odd she has it, even she doesn't.
$34.
Oh no. So she comes back out and says, I'm sorry, I thought I collect things I find out in the forest, but no such luck. You look wonderful, if that's what you're worried about.
Oh, thank you. Do you have a jeweled horn by chance?
A jeweled horn? Like from an animal?
Above table, I'm looking for a spell component.
Okay. A jeweled, is that like
it says
an animal horn?
Jeweled horn. That is it.
Okay, let's look that up real quick. What's it for?
Clairvoyance.
Yeah. From the images people see, it looks like from the handbook, it looks like it's some sort of like Viking drinking horn that has like ornate stones and carvings on it. So we can roll another dice for that one, but it's going to make it a lot lower for Volley to have something like that. Let's do, I'm actually going to pick 5 numbers. And if it's one of those numbers, I just wrote them down. If it's one of those, she'll have it. Go ahead.
Or a D20 or D100? Oh. There's no way this is going to work.
You never know. I wrote it down. No cheating.
Where did I think? Oh, there it is. 82.
Unfortunately, I don't think I do. You do see her go back and sort of rummage through again, and she's like, I don't have some old antlers. They're not really horns though, but you can have those. I found them in the forest one day.
Could I, in theory, turn an antler into a horn?
I don't think they're the same thing, but you can she'll certainly give it to you, and you can try at some point in the future to maybe turn it into a horn.
Okay.
I don't really know how the spell decides whether or not your drinking horn is good enough. You may need to try casting it once and see if it works.
Okay. Thank you, Valia.
Of course, gifts of the forest, how they shed them or whatever the mold, whatever the word is. I'm not sure. Anything else I can potentially help with?
I just have one question. Was the queen that died, was she a good queen?
Oh, it sounds like such a simple question, but I'm sure you may get different answers depending on who you ask. I think she did what she was convinced she had to do. And she did have many people that were very loyal to her. But I'm sure there are some that feel she dragged the mortals along to war with her. Wish
That's
there
a
were an
very-
easier answer.
Yeah, it's a very diplomatic answer. People think this, they could think that. Do you consider yourself a historian? An historian?
Amateur at best, and I reserve my judgment because I never met her. So I want to be fair. Maybe my own mind would change if I had.
Do you stay here? Is this your home? Sorry, I don't. Because you were with Amber when we met, but this is where you live, right?
It is, yes. I was born and raised here, and I will probably never leave for long.
So if we come back through, we know someone. That's nice. I like that.
Of course, if you ever find yourself in this area, my door is open to you. Really, the whole village is open to you. I'm sure everyone here is eternally grateful for what you all did.
Good to know. I like this place.
We try. We try to be hospitable.
I think you have achieved it. Excellent hospitality. Even when everyone was sick.
She'll give like a little chuckle to that and reach out and sort of pat your hand in a very grandmother type of way. And slip a $20 bill into it.
Oh, sorry, guys. I got extra gold because I sucked up.
Well, I suppose you may stay as long as you want, but it is about, and she'll look out the window. It's approaching noon at this point.
Well, I guess we could pack up. What do you guys think?
I think that's a good option.
Yeah, and she'll sort of shuffle around and try to help if she can. I will say, Dasha, at this point, after speaking with her and hearing that story, as you go to stand up, would you please roll me a history check at advantage?
Okay. 17.
17. So, as you go to stand after listening to the story from Valia, you're hit with a searing hot pain all of a sudden. And you sort of fall backwards back into your seat. And you remember this pain. It's like you felt it before. It's this searing hot stabbing between your ribs. And you feel this crack of bone as it goes into you. And as you fall back into this chair you're in and feel this, you look up and you're no longer in the room there with Valia. You are actually laying face down in a grassy field in the late afternoon. And as you peer out, you see this raging battle going on in front of you. And then you lose consciousness, fall face down in the grass, and suddenly you're back where you were in Valia's home.
Oh, I need a second before we pack. Just, whew. What a day. What
You
a
okay?
day.
There was a gasp. You.
Oh, yeah. It happens sometimes. Get overwhelmed and so much air needs to come inside to help, you know? I'll be fine. I just need a moment to get my feet back under me.
Take your time. We'll be ready whenever you are.
Oh, no one else feeling still tired? Oh, shouldn't. I'm good. And she'll stand back up and wait a second to see if another bout's coming. All right, yeah, I'm good. Just a spell.
Okay, as long as you're sure. And as you stand there and sort of catch your breath, you felt that sudden pain, but now these bits of memory start to sort of drip into your mind that are associated with that day that you remember there. So you remember that same evening, that battle you were at. You remember leading an army to it, but you have no memory of anything after that battle. You have no memory of any type of calm or celebration or any sort of resulting piece of victory. You also remember a name of the battle that day, which was the Battle of Elam. And you know it was a very large clash between gods and mortals that took place just north of Ratius, which was still a city at the time. So it's like it hits with this searing pain, and then these memories start to sort of fizzle in and become clearer.
I think she's just kind of holding her ribs while she begins to lead the way back to pack up.
Would it be more helpful if your feet were above you this time?
Maybe I will try that later. I wasn't thinking about how that could help, but when we make camp on the road, I'll put my feet in the air, see how that goes. Very helpful.
Are you talking about hanging upside down, or are you talking about just elevating your feet?
Well, she said she should put her feet underneath her, but every time she did that, she seemed uncomfortable. So maybe the opposite would be helpful.
Oh,
I don't know
I
how you do it.
understand.
Sometimes it can help to elevate a limb if it's injured. And bats hang upside down where they sleep. But you all aren't bats, of course.
I'd like to adopt one day.
A bat?
Mhm.
Opt one?
If it needs me, then yes.
What a very kind gesture. I'm sure if you find a bat in need, then you may be their savior. You never know.
Well, that's how we got Nibbles, so.
Oh, of course, Nibbles. Yes. How is the little fella?
It's certainly not little.
Has he grown?
In width.
He's eating well, I suppose, and that's fine. You've done him a great service.
And if everybody else is packing after having that conversation with Valia, just very quietly, if anyone in crimson robes shows up here, get out immediately.
Should I be concerned?
I believe that they're after the tear. And because it was here, I don't know if they're going to follow it.
Okay. Well, I mean, we are a bit removed from society, but I'll tell the watch. Keep an eye out.
If anything happens and you need a place to go. My home is available to you.
Of course, I appreciate it. Are you okay? Are they after you?
I don't think it is specific enough that they're after me. I think they're after what we hold.
Well, like I said, some may seek it for its power, and power can be... I think power is neutral. It's a tool. Depends on what you do with it.
They have a lot of it. Melting people in the streets of Ratius. If there is even the slightest hint that they are on their way here, hide.
Yeah, we will. Take care of yourself as well.
I think we'll be all right. I hope we'll be all right.
If you take the highway, keep your head down. Maybe try to blend in. That's what I do when I go to Ratius.
I can do that. Thank you, dearest friend. She'll tap her on the back and then go pack.
To give you a warm nod. And assist with anyone who needs help packing. And then see you out of her home.
This may be a very weird suggestion, but I think I can make our trip a little faster than on foot. At least for you two.
Oh.
Horses are typically faster.
I thought that was going to be like a crazy suggestion, but if there's horses, I know how to ride. It's not out of my wheelhouse, so to speak.
Ember just looks so awkward. Well, we don't have horses. We can have a horse for 2 hours.
Where are we getting the horse?
I am the horse.
Oh, what, you can be a horse?
For 2 hours? Wow.
I know. That's so cool.
Yes.
And it's weird because you're the horse?
Because I would be the horse.
I think that's cool. If I could be a horse out of any animal, it's very high up there.
Could you teach us the magic like you taught Malin?
We could all be horses.
That would be so fun.
I could try. I could try. Something we can practice in the evening if you all wish.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I love this plan. When do you get to be a horse? Is it right now? When do we start?
When are we heading out on the road? And you just let me know. And then I'll turn into a horse.
I'm ready right now. I'm ready to see Ember Horse.
This is much more exciting than the leaf.
I agree. The leaf it was like an opening act.
That was a bit stressful.
Actually, but it was a windy day.
Mm.
So yeah, she will cast Wild Shape at this moment in time. We have 2 uses. And just to make sure how long it lasts. I think it's an hour. Pretty sure it's an hour.
Okay.
Per use. So yeah, she will use wild shape. Again, those leaves, those spring-like leaves will like circle her. And then this glowing light as Ember's form shifts into this giant draft horse. And I think it is a simple draft horse. Dark brown, little star on its muzzle right here. And white socks. She does that sound, that bray, and then you hear, I don't have a saddle though. But I can be fast.
I am stunned. I have never seen someone do horse. Oh my goodness.
Well, I can carry you both to make the trip a bit faster.
All right. I will try not to be too bossy. I know that sometimes in the past, I tell the horse what to do and where to go. So have to remember, you are Ember Horse. Emilia, do you want front, back? How do you ride?
I've never ridden a horse before. This is exciting.
Okay,
Animals
okay.
usually don't like me.
I don't understand. You're so likable.
I think they can tell I'm undead.
Instincts.
Well, we don't have to worry about that today.
All right. Okay, I will help you up, all right? And then, all right. So I'll help Emilia up onto the back of Ember Horse. And then Dasha will take the front and have Emilia, wrap her arms around her waist. How do you want to hold? I squeeze with my thighs. I'm very strong. But should I hold your neck or the mane? You have a lot of hair, actually.
This is the most hair I've had in quite a while. So yes, whatever is most comfortable. I probably will not speak once we're around people. Just so we blend in.
It sounds good. Oh, this is so cool.
Happy to be of service.
So I'm trying to think through the mechanics here of riding a horse without any kind of tack on it or a saddle. But it's a sentient horse that you don't have to have reins for anything. But you also don't really have anything to hold on to either. So, Ember, I will say, are you all leaving Retros now? Let me ask that first. Or is this like a test of the horse functionality?
I would say she would want to cast it whenever we're leaving, so that way we get the full extent of what she can do here.
Okay. So, of course, you do this, you become Ember Horse. Dasha and Emilia are able to get up on you, and the pace that you take is up to you. I am going to have Dasha and Emilia make a roll based on the pace that you take. And I will say you also will probably want to be a little bit careful with your route as well, because I don't think horses do great through heavy forest undergrowth kind of stuff.
Yeah, I thought we were taking the road.
Yes, but you are still in Retros, which is deep in the forest. You have to get to the road.
I understand.
Yeah, unfortunately, the road does not run nearby Retros.
Would it be okay for us to do that when we're closer to the road? Because otherwise I think we would I would hinder us at that point.
Yeah, and I think you'd probably recognize that if you knew what I just explained. That makes sense. So we can say, I think it was a couple hours to get into Retris. So you all were able to head out on foot or on horse if you want to, depending on you, but you will have to get through a few hours of going through the forest to reach the highway, really sort of on the outskirts of Ratius. And for reference, there is the map up in the world of Seraphim in the corpus there. The highway's not on there, but it does follow right alongside the Elam River and then curve up alongside the Centum River, sort of forming a less than sign between Ratius and Noyrys, just for visual reference. Was that what you all do? Any stops along the way or heading straight for the highway?
I'm good to book it.
You all are able to, I would say let's do going through the forest, let's do a group survival check if we can, please.
13.
7.
17.
Okay. On the whole, that was pretty good. I'd say you all, again, you've navigated this before. Ember, you're somewhat familiar with the area. You are able to make your way through it. And I would say it's approaching the evening, probably a little bit before sundown, before you find your way to the highway on the outskirts of Ratius as it leads out of the city. And you do see as you get to this highway, it's a wide, it is dirt. It's not paved. There's no cobblestones or anything. It is a very well-trodden, very wide dirt highway that has these lamp posts with hanging lanterns dotting it along each side. And you do at this point, especially near Ratius, you do see lots of people on this road. You do see lots of individual travelers, small groups, a handful of people on horseback, not too many, and little bits of different merchant tents set up alongside the side of the road, particularly as you're close to the city here. Lots of people trying to capture the business of people coming and going from Ratius here. It's a fairly lively evening on the highway of Elam tonight.
I guess if we're on the road for a while, if I see any groups of travelers that look like a little bit more friendly, you know how some people will give you like a little wave or something, I think Dasha would just try to, in passing, see if she could initiate a conversation to ask about some of the things that they have on their list to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say you would be able to. You could pick any of the people on the side of the road trying to peddle goods. You could probably find anyone you wanted to pass by. Let's see, for the sake of trying to, is there anyone in particular whose attention you're trying to grab? A merchant, a passerby, any sort of occupation?
Try just like a passerby, yeah.
Okay, any sort of passerby. So yeah, you're able to find, let's say it's sort of a tallish, 6 foot plus elven woman. You're able to grab her attention and say, "Yes, can I help you? I'm just on my way into the city."
We are out looking for a particular group of people. We're not associated, but you know, sometimes you look. People in red, some masks. Have you heard of anything? Seen anything?
Let's see. I've seen a few people around wearing red. I don't know if I've seen anyone with masks or anything. Are the masks also red, or are they like a masquerade, sort of bejeweled?
Just It was white, correct? Or was it also red?
The masks were also the same color as the robes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's sort of the monochromatic red robe and red mask.
I can't say I've seen anyone matching that description. You say you do know them, or you're looking for them?
Just looking for them.
Okay, well, I mean, you could probably find them in Radius. Everyone's around there.
Ah, good advice. Okay. All right. Maybe we will go there next. Now that, we are chatting, another follow-up question. Do you know of any temples that seem like they're not? What's a good word for it, Emilia? What's a good word for, like, what's wrong with the temples?
Corrupted?
Yes. Corrupted.
Corrupted temples. I don't spend much time in a temple myself. I didn't realize you all were of the persuasion. I'm sorry, I don't have much to do with the gods. And you could tell she's a little bit like not standoffish, but sort of diminishing to you at this point. Like, who are these people who care about temples? Not my crowd.
Oh, that is a good conversation we just had. All right, thank you. Have a good rest of your trip.
Good luck with your temples and gods, wherever they are.
Well, they're not mine. Okay, bye.
And this woman continues on into the city. I was going to ask if Ember already transformed into the horse.
I would have preferred to change off-road just so we don't bring extra attention. So I think she's at the horse point. Also, I did find the stats of a riding horse. So my walking speed is 60 feet.
Nice. I think she'll look back at Emilia. Did you see that? Oh,
You seem nice.
I don't think so. I don't think she seemed very nice. She seemed very particular about the conversation.
She did.
Yeah, did you see whenever I said something about temples, it was like all of a sudden her mouth got really turned down and she looked like she wanted to barf.
Oh. Okay. Then she's going to take out her notebook and make a note. Downturn, sour face, not happy.
Yeah, good. Write it down. That was not a nice conversation. I didn't even say anything about being our temple, my temple, love the gods, anything. She was just so turned off. Is that how it is?
I don't really talk to people.
We both have a lot to learn. Okay. Ember, you're doing great.
Okay. You're all doing great. So you're really at this point, you're right on the outskirts of town. I would say it is sundown at this point. And the way this will work is you get an opportunity to really you see little camps of people off the side of the highway where people will sort of set up for the evening and rest and really travel in the day. You'll see some people start to travel in the evening, but you'll notice in general the crowd starts to thin out. Some of the merchants start to close up shop. So you'll have an opportunity here shortly for a rest. And then mechanics-wise, what we'll do is you'll be traveling along this highway for 7 days. So we're going to do, it is a highway, but I think the best check for it is still a survival check as far as navigating. You all can tell me how you want to proceed along it, but we'll do a survival check each of the 7 days and we'll sort of rotate around. It doesn't necessarily mean that your character is out with a machete slashing through the wilderness. It's just a way to get everyone to get in on the survival checks and rotate around. But we'll do that each day and then see what happens based on the roll. And then, of course, at any point, whatever you want to try to pass or interact with along the road, there's lots of people, there's lots of shops. Anything you'd like to, just chime in.
When the 2 hours is almost up, Ember would slink off the road and try to hide the fact that she's not always hoarse.
How far off the road do you go for this?
How far would we need to go in order not to draw a lot of attention?
You could probably see some patches of forest, maybe 20, 30 yards away from the road.
I don't think my magic's gonna last much longer.
Oh, okay. Well, wherever you want to dehorse.
Horse, okay.
And Ember will make her way over there.
Okay, and I mentioned that if you wanted to do it right on the side of the road, I would ask for a stealth check. If you want to go out all the way in the woods, you're fine. There'll be no risk. You're able to go out there and dehorse.
But yeah, those kinds of people who have the sour look on their face. Not happy. I know I'm 2 hours late, but...
So, are you the type of people who like to travel until you can't? Or do you like a routine of, oh, the sun is down, we make camp? What is necessary for the two of you?
I can honestly do either. Having a plan is always nice. Trying to find a place to set up that could be protected is preferred.
Emilia, do you have opinion?
I have never traveled before. I also don't sleep, so...
Okay. We will dig in. I still have so many questions, not in a bad way, just so many questions because it's so different. So how about we just go until we get a blister? Let's do that. Whoever gets blister first, call it out, and then we will make rest.
With having hooves for 2 hours of that, I don't think Ember would have the blister first.
Does your back hurt? Are we heavy?
Well, I'm getting older, so my back typically does hurt.
Oh.
One of the great things of aging, I guess.
So should we rest sooner for your back?
No, not for me. I can keep going. How about we go when the sun goes down? Traveling in the dark on a road we
like
don't
it.
understand is kind of frightening.
Okay. All right, when sun goes down, we're done. All right, back to the road. All good?
And while we're walking back to Dasha, with what happened this morning, are you all right?
Sometimes the memories come back and it's painful. Sometimes it's not, I just remember. And other times I just know I've forgot. This morning was just painful, that's all.
Do you know what's blocking memories for you?
Not at this time. I do know that every now and then I hear a voice in my head. It says do better, which I do not know if it's my voice or someone else's, but when I was here, I came back. I said I want to do better. And sometimes it pulls me by my spine, and other times by my tongue, and other times I get these memories or lack of. I don't understand it. Sometimes it's just the way it is. Surely one day all the pieces of the puzzle will be there.
Does it feel like a curse at all?
No.
Well, that's good.
No, I feel as if it were a curse. I feel as if it were a curse, there would be something that would cause fear. I don't feel fear.
Well, that is a good thing.
Yeah, it is. By the way, I am fine if you ask any questions in front of Emilia too. She's young, but in some ways we are alike. And we are new to the world, a little bit different.
I would prefer if you had that conversation with her first, rather than me bringing it up to her without her knowing.
Well, she knows that I am returned in a sense. But yeah, I will talk to her. I have questions for her too. One day I will have questions for you, but I can tell your heart is guarded. So whenever you want to talk.
I appreciate it. I don't know, it's I don't really know how to talk about it, I guess.
That's okay. That's why I do not ask.
She gives a little nod.
Yeah. By the way, your horse is a good horse. It reminds me of my horse, but in a different way. Just, reliable. Not one of those ponies that look like you could just, I don't know, lose them in a hole.
I take that as a grand compliment.
I'm just saying, you're good at what you do. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. But if I have any other memory problems, I will try not to hide it next time. But I don't know, with Valia, it was just awkward. I never know what to do and I don't know what to say because I have to say something.
I understand. I personally haven't told Valia anything about a lot of things either. At least about that, so if you feel the need to hide it, I will not question it.
All right. Wait a second. I said something about you flying, and Valia was in the room, and she does not know. I thought you two were like real friends.
She is my dearest friend, but sometimes that kind of knowledge can be detrimental to someone.
Like she wouldn't like you?
No.
Like that person on the road? Oh, okay.
No, I don't. I mean, it is possible, but I don't think Valia is that kind of person.
Mm-mm.
No. That thing... It can be very dangerous. And I don't want to jeopardize her in any way. We did not lie to her, so we did fly. All of us did. So on a technicality, we're not lying.
Oh, you are very kind. You thought a lot about what it would mean to lie to a friend.
I just wouldn't want anyone lying to me. But yes, so we're fine. Everything's fine, and Valia is a very dear friend.
Okay, well, from now on, I will not tell a secret to anyone else, okay? That was a misunderstanding on my part.
Slips happen, and again, we did not lie.
I don't care really about that all that often. I try to say what's on my mind, or I try to divert. So, if I don't think I'm a good liar. If I wanted to lie, what? Yeah.
I think that's a good thing, though.
Maybe.
I think it's a good thing.
For now. We will see. Oh, Emilia.
Yeah?
Do you get blisters if you're undead?
I do not think so. I don't have blood to make a blister?
Well, blisters can happen even if you are bloodless.
Maybe one of my siblings have had one.
Blisters is like when something rubs against your skin the wrong way, and because of the friction, it causes your skin to puff up, and then the liquids inside of your body that actually try to heal you. Unless there's no liquids at all, then I don't actually know. Would it just be abrasive?
I do not think I have liquids in my body.
Well, you have to swallow, don't you?
She doesn't eat, remember? She gave it all to Nibbles.
She did, but you still drink, don't you?
No.
Never mind. You don't have spit either? And Ember goes on about this for a while.
I think we probably go back and forth of like, no spit, no tears. What about earwax?
Earwax is technically a liquid. It's caused by... Do you not sweat? Not sweating would be nice.
Yeah, eventually we can look for a place to camp while we're antagonizing poor Emilia.
Yeah, I'd say while y'all are discussing Emilia's bodily fluids, you are able to find. You're able to find. It really was right before sunset by the time you got really going. So you're able to find a spot off the path, and again, generally you'll see sort of forest on maybe 20, 30 yards off the way of the road. So you can find somewhere in there. There's lots of different little camps and campfires people have. You'll be right at home finding some spot within there. And you're able to continue or have any conversations you'd like to around the evening fire there, or go ahead and go into a long rest. And tomorrow will be the official day one of travel on the highway, which will start the daily rolls.
I think while we're sitting around the fire, a little campfire, Dasha is sitting next to Emilia. I don't want to pry too much, but when you told us about your father and yourself, you said a god needs his angels. And today you have lots of questions about angels. I think I would like to know more if you are willing to share.
I'm afraid that's all I know. The only thing I remember from the page I read was he had put a god needs angels and the tier. But it doesn't seem like many people know about the angels, so I don't know.
Okay. Do you think the perfect person is meant to be the angel?
I don't know. Father has never talked about anything with himself. I don't know if we are supposed to be the angels or we are from angels.
Oh, in my head, it just the way that Valia was talking, it just made me wonder a little bit more about your father's intentions. Not in a good or bad way, just why would a person create a perfect person to be an angel if that angel were not assigned to a god?
Above table, has her father ever seemed religious? I don't think so.
I would say it's up to you. I did not have that as one of his characteristics, though.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Yeah.
She just kind of shrugs and she's like, I don't think we had anything religious at the house. I don't remember seeing anything important or ornate. No mention.
Are y'all trying to have this conversation quietly, or
No,
can
this is
Ember
just-
hear? Okay.
Just open.
If he's trying to make angels, then, and nothing seems to hold any religious value in your house, is he trying to do a power shift?
That's what I was thinking.
What does that mean?
The way Valia was talking, gods and mortals aren't that different. Prayer gives someone power. Angels give someone power. Is this a power move?
Do not know. All I know is he wants to create a perfect person and he puts souls in bodies.
Do you know where he gets the souls from?
No, I don't think I've ever thought about it.
What do you think about?
I think about the things my father has taught me and the things that my siblings have taught me and being helpful.
What if I were to stab you in the leg? Right now.
Would that
What would
make
you
you
think?
happy?
We're not stabbing Emilia.
No, I'm just saying, what if I stabbed you in the leg and it meant nothing to me? What would you think of that?
That would probably hurt.
What
But I
would you
have
think of
annoyed
me?
you a few times, so I suppose that would be fair.
Would you want to do anything to me?
No.
What if someone stabbed me, but it made them happy?
That would not be
Would-
very nice.
Would you want to stab them back?
I don't know. Probably. Would you want me to? We're friends.
I'm
And-
dying. I'm dying. I've been stabbed. All I want is to live.
I'm not good at healing. I could go get Ember, though.
Do you know what that means?
Dying?
No, it means you want to help.
Yes.
Does your father want you to help me?
I don't know. He's never met you. Though
Okay.
he doesn't have any friends. He mostly just talks to us.
All right, and do your siblings want you to help me?
Avi might. Seymour might too. But he doesn't really show a lot of emotions.
Okay, so they might want to help, but you want to help.
We're friends.
Yeah, so I think that's worth thinking about the things that you want. The things that you can do without knowing what they would want.
I've never wanted things before.
You wanted to help.
Yeah,
That's a want.
I want to help my father, yeah.
You wanted to help Dasha.
Because we're friends.
Oh, look at Ember. I think it's a start.
Ember nods. Let me ask you another question. The way you want to help your father, does your father want to help you? The way you want to help Dasha, does your father want to help you?
I assume so. He wants to create a perfect person.
Has he ever helped you?
He takes care of me. He lets me help him, and he lets me stay at the house, and he gives me tasks to do.
Would you ever want to stab one of us?
No,
Would you ever want to hurt one of us?
no.
Has he hurt you?
Well, it hurts, but it helps me learn. So it's a good kind of hurt.
Would you do that to us to teach us a lesson?
I'm not the authority, so no.
Ember just takes a deep breath and slumps down.
Oh.
But again, if I've done something wrong, you can hit me. That would help.
Would you hit me if I had done something wrong?
No, because you're the authority? Am I
Says
answering
who?
these incorrectly?
There is no right or wrong answer. And I am not your authority. I'm your friend.
Yeah, we are friends, not authority. Not authority. Even though some of us used to wear crowns and stuff.
But you are both older and a lot smarter.
No, I've made quite a bit of mistakes with age. So, older does not equal smarter.
Older, yes. Smarter, not necessarily. There are things you are better at than I am.
I do not think that is true.
You're hopeful. You are insightful. You are friendly and kind, and people don't scare you.
You are those things too.
No.
I I think what we're trying to say is it is not the right or wrong that we are concerned about. We just want you to think about yourself. That's all.
Myself.
Who you are, what you want. Not about being helpful or useful, just about being.
I should think about who I am.
Precisely.
I do not know. I don't have any memories before awakening. And I still don't know who this body is.
Well, then let's start with something simple. Are there any dandelions around?
I would think you could probably find some, yeah. I mean, it's sort of like grassy fields alongside the road before you get into the wooded area. So yeah, likely some weeds of that nature. Sure.
Ember would like to collect dandelions. And then she will hand one to Emilia, and the rest she's going to make a tea with.
Okay.
She hands Emilia this dandelion, and it's just one of the big, bright, big yellow ones. What do you think?
It is a yellow flower. A dandelion, I think.
It is. Do you like it?
It is bright
Do you
and
like
useful, I think. I suppose.
Why do you like it? It technically has no functional value.
Because you gave it to me.
Ember kind of tries not to cry on that one. What else? Why else do you like it? Why do you think I gave it to you? It has no functional value.
You want me to hold on to it for you?
No. You could toss it away. You could step on it. You could chew it. You could put it in your hair. You could throw it in the fire.
So it is not useful.
It is not. So why do you like it?
It is bright and nice.
Would you say that's your favorite color?
I do not know. Do people prefer certain colors?
I prefer green.
I like red, but not like a crimson, more like a very deep red.
I have never considered a color that I like more than others.
Could be a start. And Ember will start making dandelion tea.
I will hold my little flower.
And you're able to make the tea. No issue. You've done this before.
And she'll just pass it around.
So the dandelion is useful? Or is this just hot leaf juice?
This is hot leaf juice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like it?
I do not need to drink it, but if it would make you happy, I will.
Does drinking hurt you?
I don't know. Does drinking hurt you?
Well, depends on what kind of drinking it is. This, no. But drinking and eating is just more so than just a functional need of something. They have taste. Maybe you enjoy a taste of something.
I do not think I've eaten or drinking anything since I was awakened. I do not know.
Could be fun. Could be awful. Has no functional value to you, so it is up to you.
She'll take it. She'll look at Ember. And she will actually take a sip.
Technically, you have a tongue, so you have taste buds. Yeah.
She'll just kind of sit there and be like, it tastes like... And then she'll take her flower and smell it, and then smell the tea, and then take a sip and then smell the flower, and she's like, it tastes like the flower smells. Is it supposed to do that?
Mm-hmm. Do you like it? And I think this is going to be something Ember asks a lot. Do you like it?
It is different.
You can say you don't like it if you don't like it.
Yeah, that is a word. If you say different, it could be good different or bad different.
I have no frame of reference for this. It is nice.
Does it make you feel good?
It is warm in my mouth.
Is that pleasant?
I suppose.
Well, you didn't immediately spit it out, so I will take that as in it's not that bad. You can like things that aren't useful. There are things that you may not like that are useful. Lots of things to learn about yourself here.
She'll set her stuff down and she'll pull out her notebook, start making notes.
Do you like taking notes? And she will start asking like all these do you likes probably for the rest of the evening for anything that Emilia does. Do you like it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Why do you like it?
She's going to give the same style of answer of, this is useful. This is helpful. I have no frame of reference. It's nice. She will put her flower that you gave her in her book for safekeeping.
Yeah, I think Dasha is probably the first to turn in. I will keep a watch, but I will rest first if that is fine. So wake me up if needed.
And you are all welcome to set up a watch system if you'd like. You are on the side of a highway. There are other people around, but you don't know these people, so you never know.
I can take first watch.
Above table, I'm pretty sure Emilia only needs like 4 hours of just being catonic, I guess. So for 2 hours or 4 hours, she can watch whenever y'all need.
Okay, so we can set up an order. Who wants to, we'll do 3 in order. We'll roll a perception check for each one. Who wants to go first?
Ember can go first.
Okay, if you would, pretty please, roll me a perception check.
casting Hunter Sense on myself. 15.
Okay. It's a nice quiet start to the evening. You see several bands of travelers do similar to your group and find somewhere to settle down for the evening, and the highway gets a bit quieter overall.
Are there any animals around?
You wouldn't see any immediately. Actually, I would say you probably do see a few squirrels and birds sort of hopping around trying to find bits of food and things that people have dropped along the highway. But any sort of like larger animal, larger woodland creature, you'd probably have to go a little farther off the path, maybe into the forest to look for.
She'll cast Speak with Animals and ask the squirrel or anything that listens. Have you seen anything like this? And she'll cast Elementalism in her hand to kind of give an idea of what these things look like.
And one of the things you're showing this squirrel, we'll say it's a squirrel.
Okay. It's like a figure of the robe, the mask.
Okay. So you cast Speak with Animals, and you do get the attention of this little squirrel who's found itself sort of a bit of a carrot that someone has dropped. And it's over there trying to bite into it. And as you go to speak to it, it looks up at you and goes, "Whoa! You scared me, lady."
I'm sorry.
No, I really don't see, I see a lot of shoes and feet. I don't look up much. No one's wearing red shoes. You looking for them?
Did the people that were cloaked, could you see their shoes?
No. They had very long cloaks on. Well, I'll say this. There was nothing about the shoes that stood out to you when you saw them.
I don't actually think you would see their shoes. It would be like this red draping cloak thing, similar to this.
And she kind of like just flails her outfit to where you can't see her shoes anymore.
Are you just looking for someone wearing red? I mean, is this your first time here?
Well, I can say I haven't been out in a while.
I hate to break it to you. A lot of people wear red around here.
A lot of people wear red.
Yeah, I mean, red's a pretty popular color. I think even my fur's got a little bit hint of red to it, you know.
It is a very pretty red.
Yeah, thanks. You got anything to eat, like a potato or something?
I don't have a potato, no, but she'll rummage through her pouch and find something to give to it.
Gee, thanks, lady. Any of the people you're looking for around here?
Not at the moment.
Okay, well, if you find any potatoes, let me know. Well, one of my friends, we all talk, you know. We're close.
You're all close. Okay. I'll make sure to start grabbing some potatoes.
We're pretty, except for Earl.
We don't
talk
like
to him.
Earl. Okay.
I hate that guy.
Who's Earl?
He's got kind of like a bushy tail,
Yeah.
kind of pointy ears. You'll know him when you see him.
I'll know him when I see him already. I will make sure Earl does not get any of those potatoes.
Good. Okay.
Is this you all talk? And I'll bring the potatoes. Give me any ideas that you have about these people in red.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for people wearing red. One of the primary colors. Sure. Thanks.
You know your primary colors. I'm very proud of you.
Gee, thanks, lady. Appreciate the compliment. And it will run off down the road a little bit and look for little bits of food that people have dropped along the way.
And Ember just does the rest of her watch.
Okay. And who's up second for the watch? Whoever it is, if you roll me a perception check, please.
I can
Do
it.
it, Ember. Wake up.
Would anyone wake up? Ember, who would you wake up? Or who would you sort of notify, rather?
She'll go to Dasha very gently, like nudge your shoulder.
Okay, time already. Okay.
Very clear evening. The squirrel said look out for Earl. I don't think we'll have to worry about Earl.
Oh. Well, ugh, I hate that name. Earl?
Earl.
Earl. No, thank you. Okay. Good to know. I'll take up a post.
Hey, as you take up this post, if you would roll me a perception check, see what's going on in the night.
Natural 20.
Very nice. So you have a very keen eye. You can make out a lot along the highway. You see very similar to what Ember saw as well, which is fewer and fewer people on the highway as the evening gets later into the early morning hours, and not much going on. You do see a few birds, or rather squirrels at this hour, hopping around looking for any kind of victuals that people have dropped, but nothing beyond that.
After what I think is around probably 4 hours, I'll go to Emilia if she's already awake, or if not, I will wake her.
Sure.
Yeah, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you are so chipper. Okay. Back to sleep.
And Emilia, if you would please do the same. If you would like to, roll a perception check.
Perception is a 16.
16, okay, very good. You're in the sort of the last shift of it, so you'll be awake to see that the really late hour, and then just the tail bits of the sun start to peak up. But it is a quiet early morning. You don't see anything, you don't hear anything out of the ordinary, but you do see a few very early risers in different camps start to get their things ready to get back onto the highway.
I'll just start packing up some of our stuff, make breakfast, stuff like that.
Absolutely. And you're all able to complete a long rest and get ready for the first day here. So, Emilia, if you will kick us off with our first survival check of the Highway of Elam.
A 12.
A 12. Okay. So, you all are able to get your camp packed up, get back on the highway, use the 2 hours of Ember's horse ability at any point in the day you would like to. I will say, up to you. It's just flavor-wise, however you want to do it. It won't affect the travel time based on when you use it. But it is a pretty typical day on the road. Quiet day, I'll say, as in like there's not a lot of commotion. The crowds are thinner in the mornings. You're able to make good time. I will say, as you're all traveling along, anyone who wants to can roll a perception check for me.
Here, I'll roll. Another natural 20, so 22.
Very nice.
Hunter sense 15.
Okay, so anyone who rolled above a 10, you will hear some chatter on the highway of rumors that are going around about tremors and earthquakes in the area surrounding Noyrys, which seems a little bit odd. You get the sense the way they're talking about it, it's not a common occurrence in that part of the country. And it's only started within the past couple of days.
When did we have our visions?
It would have been about 2 days ago now.
And Emilia told us what she saw, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ember's just going to look at Emilia.
As a horse?
Yeah, just kind of... Well, I was hoping maybe with the chatter I wouldn't be a horse at this point, but do I need to roll for this?
You can decide if you're the horse or not at this point. It's up to you.
Okay. Evens, I'm a horse. Odds, no. As a horse, I just kind of look around and just keep trotting along.
I'll like lean forward. I'm like, are we getting heavy?
Looks to Dasha. Like, please tell me you heard that.
Oh, wait. Yes. Emilia. Did you hear what they just said? It's like the second time I've heard it today. About the earthquakes and tremors. Sound familiar?
I don't believe I've experienced an earthquake before.
What about in a certain vision?
Oh, yeah. There was, in my vision, I was at home and the ground shook and there was a big gap in the ground and then it glowed blue. Like the tear.
And what do you think about that?
That it was real?
I guess we will see. Well, that's exciting. We have something to look forward to.
I do not think Father would be happy if there was a big cavern next to his house.
No, but we will be able to tell if that tier has some sort of divination property. That's interesting.
We don't have
Do you want to
keep
touch it again? What?
We don't have to keep touching the rock, do we?
Oh, I was going to say, do you want to? Do you want to touch it to see if you see something else? But you don't have to. I mean, Ember, do you want to touch it?
I don't speak horse.
You know, I don't either, but I think it might mean that it's an idea, you know? Like maybe if anyone wants to, we could try again, but not going to make anyone do something they don't want to do. Do you know what's really weird to think about?
What?
We have a super important thing, and I could just like chuck it. I could just throw it away right now. And when would anyone ever find it again?
I suppose it would depend on how far you threw it.
I can throw so far.
Maybe an animal would find it. Then it would make them sad.
Probably. So, do you think it's good that I hold on to it and don't throw it?
Well, we do need it to give to my father, but if you don't need it after, well, I guess we haven't decided whether the people in red are nice and want it or not nice and want it.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess I will not throw it. It wasn't really a real question. It was more of like a, just want to test the waters, as they say.
We're not in water. Do you think your water is poisoned?
I could be.
Do you want me to test it?
Yeah.
I will try her water.
Okay, you may try Dasha's water. What am I looking for here? If you would, roll me. So do you drink the water? Okay, roll me a Constitution saving throw, if you would.
If it is actually poison, I have advantage, but it's a 10.
You take a sip, and it's unfamiliar. It's odd.
It does not taste like the hot leaf juice from last night. I don't know whether that's good or bad.
I agree. Sometimes it's like, why does water taste like nothing? But I was curious if you were going to be able to taste poison, but if you don't taste anything, then that is good.
I will pour a little in my hand to see if it had that same gray murkiness from the poisoned water of the well.
You can do that, and when you see the water, you will know it looks clear. It looks like any kind of fine water you were familiar with before.
It looks okay.
That's good. Thank you for checking for me. Now we know.
You're welcome.
Man, I never know where a conversation's going to go. I didn't ever realize how many of those words that mean other words in the phrases that I use before I met you. I guess I need to work on that.
I'm not very good at understanding things sometimes.
I don't think it's on you. I think I am just very used to... I was very used to people just saying that they agreed with me. It's interesting to have a conversation with someone who does not always agree, but is curious and wants to figure out what I mean.
So, do you have favorite things?
Oh, no, I told you I like red, but the deep kind, very dark red.
She's gonna write that down.
Yeah, if it wasn't clear, I like horses too.
Horse,
Not ponies.
not pony. Okay.
I really thought your water was wine.
What if it was? Should have been like, I don't drink water, sorry.
I didn't even think about that. Honestly, the Constitution was just to kind of get you on edge, and it's unfamiliar because you don't drink water. So you're able to continue along the day. You do throughout the day. Again, the weather's good today. The crowds start to increase, sort of picking up a bit as you get into the midday and afternoon hours. You do pass lots of different merchants and sort of barking at you to come try this, come try that, come check out their wares. There's no shortage of that along the path, but depending on any of that, you were able to make your way pretty good distance, especially with the Ember Horse travel to sort of propel you a little bit along the way. And the sun starts to dip low into the sky again to prepare for another evening.
I think when we're prepping for camp, if these visions we saw are real, if earthquakes are happening towards Noyrys where you saw an earthquake happening, does that mean everyone else's was real?
I'm just going to assume that mine was real. I saw someone in red. So, probably.
Well, Malin's vision was real. He saw the present.
So that means all of ours are in the present then, most likely.
Ember, what did you see?
A lab.
Lots of scientific equipment, lots of things I'd rather not see again and wish did not exist.
That's right. There was like creatures, right? In tubes.
Yeah, large glass chambers with people in them. Layers of barred rooms. Chamber of desks. So that means it's current. People are being put in tubes.
Emilia, were you in a tube? I'm just going to ask it. Were you in a tube?
She kind of looks down at herself and looks back up at you and be like, no.
Okay, just wanted to know. Were your siblings in a tube? Or they're separate tubes?
I'm gonna assume no above table. There were no tubes.
No tubes involved. I was aware of. No, it's a tubeless environment.
Tubeless. We had scientific equipment that had tubes and such, but none large enough to put a body in.
Okay. Well, that's less points against your father, so that's something. Okay, I'm going to suggest something. What if we all touch the rock again and then have a palate cleanser? You know, like we do some jump rope or throw some rocks at some trees, like a little game to make ourselves feel better. But I'm just kind of curious, like, under specific circumstances, what happens when you touch the sad rock? Like, if I think about the past, does it show me the past? If I think about the future, does it show me the future? If I'm here and now, like, what will it show me? I'm a little bit curious. That's all.
Like an experiment.
Yes, science.
Okay.
Ember shudders at that word.
Are you cold?
No.
Or we can just call it curiosity. Yeah.
If we are curious, can they be curious on us?
Who's they?
Like, if I see a man in a red cloak in a vision, can he see me back? I don't know.
You see a man in a red cloak?
He was in red. He was in red, in like a stone room. Yeah.
What you got, Ember?
I was looking to see if, as a druid, if I could cast something, and I don't think I can. I don't think I can. I cannot.
I'll go first if you want.
Is there anything identifying where we are?
Like physically by the highway?
Yes. Like anything that, like, say if someone could see us the way we are looking in, would they know where we are?
Oh, as in like if someone were to see a vision of where you are, is there like a distinguishing landmark or something? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I would say you're not at a section of the highway. The highway is pretty uniform, might not be the best word, but it doesn't have any sort of big distinguishing like monuments or anything like that. It's very much fixed with dirt, highly treaded path with different stalls along the side. So any section of highway could easily be mistaken for another one.
Okay. With Emilia saying she would like to go first, I'm going to cast Protection from Good and Evil on you. Actually, can I get all of us? I don't know if it would actually do anything. Okay, you can only cast it on one person at a time. Casting it does nothing. So I will cast at first level Protection of Good and Evil on Emilia if you were touching it first.
Have you cast that spell yet? I don't think you have you?
I don't think I have.
What does that look like as you cast this on Emilia?
I think you see like almost like a mixture of her two magic types as she very gently, I believe it's a touch spell. It is. She very gently taps your shoulder, and I think you see her hands glow this greenish hue and then this yellow hue. And it's almost like how a bubble is iridescent. You kind of see that bubble form around you with those two colors.
At the color of the gold, Emilia will look a little concerned, because I think that was the color you used for your healing. Yeah, so when that color comes, she's kind of like bracing for pain.
I'm not hurting you, am I?
I do not think so.
Okay.
I will confirm you feel no pain or discomfort from this either, given that it doesn't have a healing property.
Right.
So pretty much you are protected from aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. Protection grants several benefits. Creatures of those types have disadvantage on attack rolls against the target, and the target also cannot be possessed or gain the charm or frighten conditions. If you are already possessed, charmed, or frightened, the target has advantage on a new saving throw.
Okay. And you have the spell, and it lasts up to 10 minutes. So, what would you like to do, Emilia?
Who's carrying the rock? She'll sort of like hold her hands out for the rock and then be like, should I think of something to start?
What do you want to think of? Do you want to know what's going on right now? Do you want to know something maybe from the past? You have questions.
I do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Here's the rock. And I'll place it in her hands.
The rock.
Okay. And as Dasha puts this sad rock into your hands, a familiar thing happens, and you are suddenly no longer there at the campfire. But you don't see anything right away. What you do hear is screams, cries, and the sound of a great roaring fire, and a lot of shuffling of bodies and feet and people running around. And then you smell smoke, and not like a campfire smoke, like a barn fire type of smoke, like a very heavy building fire smoke. And as you come to, you're in what appears to be some sort of tavern, but it's on fire. And this is a roaring fire all throughout. The rafters and the ceiling is completely burning up. The smoke is to the point where you have trouble making things out in front of you. And someone grabs your hand, says, "Hurry, we have to go, we have to get out." And they run towards the door, and they sort of drag you along. And there are already people at the door that are pushing onto it, and it's not opening. And it appears like maybe it's stuck, maybe it's been barricaded, but the smoke is getting thicker. People are starting to panic. They're starting to trample each other, trying to get to this door and push it open. And as you're there with this group, there's windows to the side of the door. And as you turn, you catch a glimpse of someone standing out there. They're not looking back at you, but you can see they're outside of the building. Through the smoke, you're able to make out this somewhat familiar blue-skinned person that you've recently met. It looks a lot like Malin, and he has this very distraught, confused look on his face. And then at that point, you start coughing uncontrollably, and the smoke overcomes you, and you lose consciousness. But you still smell that smoke, and it's almost like every sensation you have, every sense starts to fade to nothing. And then you're back at the campfire.
She'll kind of come to coughing, like aggressively.
I'll remove the rock from her hands with like the same cloth it came out of. Are you okay?
She'll like stop for a second and think and be like, "Oh, I don't breathe." Yes. That was not fun.
Oh.
Let's see. I thought of the past, and then I touched the sad rock. And then I was in a tavern that was on fire, and it didn't smell nice, and there was a lot of smoke. And then we were trying to get out, and the door wouldn't open for some reason. But then I saw, was Malin like the same age he is now, or did he look younger or older?
He looked a little younger, and you know Malin's a little bit young right now, but he looked a bit younger.
Okay. So she'll be like, you know, the door wouldn't open. I looked out the window and I saw Malin, but he looked very sad. And then I kept coughing and I kind of closed my eyes and that was it.
Would you please roll me a wisdom saving throw?
Oh, okay. 'Tis a solid natural one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to make another roll for me if you would, please.
Wait,
would you please?
Saving rolls. I have a thing. I'm a paladin.
Okay, hold.
I'm a thing.
Pause.
It doesn't do anything against natural ones, I don't think. Or of protection. You gave it a +5 to saving throws whenever I'm close to you.
Oh, Blint.
That's it.
So, does that make it a 6?
6.
Okay. Could I ask you to please roll a d6 for me, if you would?
Yes. A 6.
A 6. Okay. You've experienced this once or twice before, sort of this intense rush of memory and emotion that hits you when you have these sort of unexplained but familiar experiences like this. And this one hits particularly hard because it almost feels like you just experienced death. And in this fit of unexplained confusion, you're a spellcaster. This arcane energy that normally you're able to harness and focus and control, you lose control of it. And you do cast an offensive spell at a random direction, and it does use a spell slot. And I will say, if we want to look at your spell list, we can roll for whatever you might roll, whatever you might cast here.
Okay, wait, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I have 11 spells. So I'll just roll like a d12.
Let's see. Chill
Well,
times
technically
that,
not, they're all.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm counting 5 offensive. Chill touch, firebolt, sorcerer's burst, chromatic orb, magic missile.
Okay, I'll roll a d6. If it's a 6, DM choice.
Okay.
Rolling 6s tonight. Pick your flavor.
Ooh. I got 2 in mind.
Okay.
Magic missile.
Magic missile. Level 1?
Level 1, yeah. It is level 1. It does use the spell slot, but it's level 1. And it is a random direction. So we'll do like I'll roll a d4 for north, south. Actually, yeah, d4, north, south, east, and west. But I'm going to assign 1 to Ember and 2 to Dasha.
Sort of d4s. 3.
Okay. So normally, magic missile would hit your target, but you don't exactly have a clearly defined target here. So as you experience this rush of, again, emotion and what feels like memory, but is very confusing, this arcane energy just blasts forth from your hands as you would cast magic missile, and it shoots off into the darkness beyond the camp.
Whoa.
I'm assuming you look panicked.
Probably. She might start like coughing again and then like hyperventilating and then sort of like grab her head and then put her hands out and then cast it.
Seeing that, she's going to drop Protection of Good and Evil on you and cast Calm Emotions. And that is a 16 charisma saving throw.
Okay. And that would be a 15.
When Dasha says, whoa, it's almost like Ember immediately just snaps. And I feel like you start to smell chamomile and like a warm hearth, tea, and you hear a fire crackling as she makes you calm down.
After she like sorcerer bursts and she's still hyperventilating, she would drop on her hands and knees. And then when you cast it, she kind of just sits back and she just looks Like, not unresponsive, but she's just like kind of coming back for a second.
Are you all right?
Yes? You think so? We'd be angry rock now.
You feel angry?
Oh.
No, but there's a lot of emotions in the rock.
In the rock. Okay. Did the rock show you something angry?
People were certainly angry at the door not being open.
And you told us you saw Malin, right?
Yes. Malin looking upset.
She'll look at Dasha. Did Merv trap people in a burning building?
Was Malin inside with you, or was he outside?
He was outside.
She'll look back. I think he did.
That doesn't sound like a very nice thing to do.
Yeah, on the scale, it usually goes towards bad. When you came back, you were coughing.
There was a lot of smoke. I'm not
Did
sure.
it feel like you're not sure who
I was? I've never experienced that. And Malin didn't look like he does now.
And you wanted a question of the past? That's what you told the rock or thought to the rock?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that it felt real?
I think the person I was died.
You think you saw the death of you?
I'm not sure who I was. I didn't look at myself. She kind of like looks at her hands.
Oh. Well, that's a lot. Are you okay?
It's fine. I don't breathe. So smoke shouldn't be a problem.
That's true. Okay.
I don't think we answered our questions, though.
Right. Right.
You still got what you were
But you
looking
thought
for,
of the
though.
past. Yeah. You saw what you were looking for. And back whenever we were in with Valia at the temple when we touched the rock, I think we were all kind of different in our headspace, you know, like we just touched it, so there wasn't intention behind it. But this is the first time touching with intention has led to a result.
So then you guys should think of a present and a future and see if that makes a difference.
Okay, sure. I can go first.
Before we move on, though, should we send Ascending to Merv and ask about this?
Nah. Normally I wouldn't care. I would be like, a lying man is going to lie. A cheating man is going to cheat. But I'm curious of what he says.
Or should we ask Mal?
Mal will tell the truth.
She'll hold out the sending stone. How do we ensure that Mal gets it and not Merv?
I guess we can't. I guess we could always say, we're on our way. We have some questions. Let's talk to Mal tomorrow. Or something like that. Like, make sure he has the rock tomorrow.
She will hand you the rock. You're better at being direct than I am.
I will take that as a compliment. Okay. Take it. Hey, Mal. We are on our way. So much is happening. We should talk. Let's make sure you have the rock tomorrow for some quick questions. I'm not keeping up with the amount of words I've had.
I wasn't either. It doesn't sound like too much yet.
Hope you're alive. And then she'll just like toss it back at Ember.
Okay, I will say you don't get a response immediately,
Okay.
but you may soon.
Okay. He should probably respond soon. Probably wants a little bit of privacy. Or Merv is being Merv. But I think it's smart that we ask him.
I think he'll tell the truth. You said you're going next?
Yeah. Oh, Amber, what would you like to think of? Do you want to think of future or do you want to think of present? I can do either one.
I would like future, if that's okay.
Okay. I will think of present. I will try to think of what these tremors are right now. Yeah, okay. I'll see if I can see something about the tremors. And she'll take the rock.
Good and evil.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Also, it was a compliment.
What was the compliment?
Oh, Dasha said I wasn't sure. I'll take that as a compliment.
Okay, so Dasha, do you remove the cover or the protective cloth and touch the tear?
Yes, let's do it.
As you do this, you're suddenly back to something somewhat familiar. Something you felt the other morning when you were face down on this grassy knoll overlooking this battle raging below you. and you feel that sharp stabbing pain and that crack of bone. You hear that again. But now it feels like you're there. It feels a lot more real. The senses are firing off a bit more. And you feel it, it's like coming in through the back of your ribs, like this thing is stabbed through you from behind. And a lot of this is familiar from the other morning, but something's new. You actually hear a voice this time from behind you. And hear a male voice say, "Forgive me, my queen. I do this for mortal and god alike. I do it for Seraphim." And that pain drives further into you as you feel this spear jabbed further into your back. And it's just an unimaginable, searing, sharp pain. And you look out across that battlefield one more time and hear it continue to rage as all your senses start to fade to nothing. And there's just like this slightest little tinnitus ringing in the darkness. And after a moment, you're back at the campfire.
I think she also comes back gasping for air.
Do you need the spell too? Or do we want
yes.
to revel? Okay.
Oh.
Calm emotions.
I don't know whose neck I need to wring. Ooh. It was not the present. Not the present.
What did you see then?
Well, I think I saw whoever killed me. And right now, I don't feel a lot of things towards that man. But a few seconds ago, I just wished I could stab him through the heart with the same spear he stabbed me with. It felt very real. I'm sorry you had to feel like what it was like to die, Emilia. It's not a fun memory to revisit.
I guess I don't remember the first time I died.
I think it's what just happened to you when you touched the rock.
Maybe.
So it's showing how you've died now.
Yeah. Not exactly, I guess within our control what we see. Who would have done that to me? I would have expected it to be would have expected it to be a god, but it sounded so much like a man.
Who would you have turned your back to?
That is something to think about.
Would you roll me a history check at advantage, please?
Ooh, okay.
As you stew in this memory.
Oh, it's not great. That's a 1 on one die and a 3 on the other.
For a total of...
Probably
is it a flat
not.
roll?
Yeah, plus a 0.
Okay, so a 3. The name escapes you, but I think you did pick up on what Ember said about who would you turn your back on.
Oh, I feel like I need to feel something more.
I can release a spell if you want me to.
No, it's okay. It's just old emotions, I guess. Are you sure you want to touch it?
Have you died before?
Me?
No, Ember.
Oh,
It showed us our deaths, but she hasn't died.
I haven't died before, but I should have. So I don't know what this is going to show. But you both did it, and I can't. We're learning things from this, so... I'm just so sorry that that happened to you both.
Ember will slowly reach for the rock.
Okay, do you protection from good and evil on yourself?
I don't think she does.
Okay. Dasha, do you hand it over?
are you sure?
We're learning valuable information from this, so it's... Sometimes you have to do hard things.
Okay.
Emilia will come sit next to you and like take your hand and be like, I can hold your hand until you're back.
She squeezes it. Not enough to hurt you, but you can definitely tell like she is holding on to you for dear life. But I think in hearing what they've both seen, I think she forgets to cast good and evil on herself.
Okay. And you touch the tear?
Yes.
Okay. One moment you're here at this campfire with your friends. As soon as you touch that tear, you're jolted back. And it's dark at first, but you hear chains and you feel restricted. Like you can't move. And suddenly there's a very loud metal slice, almost like a guillotine that you hear. And you feel a searing pain on your back right side. And your vision comes to. And you're upright, but your arms and legs are chained out. Almost like that Da Vinci drawing of the guy who's like in that X pose with your hands bound. And there's someone behind you. And as you look down, you don't see who they are, but you see the blade they hold in their hand. And it drips blood. And you feel that pain in your back still. And you hear a voice. Person behind you. Brief little chuckle. Ha. Little bird. We keep clipping these wings, and they keep coming back. That's good. The secret is in you somewhere, and we're just going to have to cut it out. And then you hear another slice, and you feel the same type of sharp, stinging pain on the other side of your back. And you hear this splatter of blood and this mess of feathers that sort of float down to the ground and rest in this pool of blood beneath you. And then you lose consciousness, everything goes black, and you're back at the campfire after a moment.
Quick question. With knowing that Dasha and Emilia both saw their deaths, every time that happened, did she die?
Roll for me, if you would, a history check.
Would you allow me to guidance myself?
I'm honestly going to say at this point, I think you're a bit too...
That makes sense.
I don't know. Yeah, let's say you won't be able to guidance yourself, but you've experienced this memory. If you want to try to recollect it later when you're in a better mental state to cast guidance, maybe you can. But in the moment, if you're coming right out of it, roll a history check for me.
Okay, that's a 13 plus 4 for 17.
Okay, 17. That's a good roll. You were in there for a very, very long time. A very long time, to the point where it started to blur together. You're uncertain. You're uncertain if that was death, if it had caused death, if you ever died, if you were dead the whole time. You're not sure.
I think she starts scrambling when she comes back, like touching where her back is, and it's almost like she's trying to like tug up the back of her shirt just to feel where those wings come out. And I think as she's doing that, you would see these C-like scars where her wings sit. Almost like they have been cut off, torn out, pulled out over and over and over. So it's like this ginormous scar tissue that looks like it is built and built and built and built and built and scarred over and scarred over and scarred over. I'm not a bird. I'm not a bird. I'm not your little bird. Please don't. And I don't think she knows to cast calm emotions on herself.
No, in fact, if you would you please roll me a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage?
At +5.
Okay, my wisdom is a +8. But at a disadvantage, I had a 13 and a 2. So that's a 15 with the +5 from Dasha.
So 13 is the lowest roll. I thought you said one was a 13, one was a 2. So 13 was the lowest roll.
No, I
plus
have
2.
I have a 2 on the dice. +8
Okay.
for 10.
Okay.
+5 for 15. Yes.
Okay, for 15. It's pretty good, but this is pretty traumatizing. Can I ask you to please roll a d6 for me?
3.
Okay. So though you just experienced this incredible pain and this terrible memory, you suddenly feel this anger sort of boiling within you. And you just you're confused by how angry you start to get based on this memory. Like this rage just starts coursing through you.
I think in that rage, she gets quiet. And she starts to seethe. And I think you see that eye color change to that sickly green. And just underneath her breath, I was bred to kill things like you. The last thing you will see is ones.
Emilia just kind of looks at Dasha like, do you know what she's talking about?
What was the last thing that Ember said? I was bred to kill things like you.
I was bred to kill things like you. The last thing you will see is ones.
Ones? Like the number?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Dasha will take her other hand, and instinctively, it's like lay on hands starts like pumping in. You're back with us now, okay? With Dasha, Emilia.
Dasha and Emilia.
Is Kip with us?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I think just hearing your voice and bringing like her back, she will finally cast calm emotions on herself.
I'm assuming you can choose to fail that. Yeah.
Angry rock.
Angry.
Yeah. Is your back okay? I can heal it if you need it. You are clawing at it.
Oh, yeah. It's, I'm okay. That lab I told you about, they like to cut people open. They like to find out what secrets it may hold. I don't know how many times I've died or if I'm dead already. I don't know.
I feel for her pulse in her wrist.
Yeah.
Didn't you roll for it? Or
Yeah, let's do a medicine check.
okay. 9.
You're no physician, but you can feel an elevated pulse at least.
Your heart is pumping and you are warm to the touch.
Quick question. Being a life cleric and with Ember's backstory, does Revivify, Resurrection, any of those spells leave marks that they have been cast?
Leave marks on the person that has had it cast on them or the person who cast it?
The person who it was cast on. Is there any tell that somebody has been revivified or resurrected? Is there any telltales?
I don't believe so. The way I look at Revivify, I would say if you were killed in a very obvious way, you would probably maintain that scarring, but there wouldn't be something you would say that's a result of Revivify, like that mark or that symbol. Like if you were run through, you would likely have a scar through your gut.
What about detect magic?
Is there any sign of detect magic being cast on someone?
No,
What do you mean?
in like, what if I were able to cast detect magic? Could I detect if a Revivify was cast?
Let's look at the spell. Do you have that spell currently?
I can take it tomorrow. So
Let me look it up because I don't want to lead you astray.
for the duration, you sense the presence of any magical effects within 30 feet of yourself. If you sense such effects, you can take the magic action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears the magic. And if an effect was created by a spell, you learn the spell's school of magic. So would you be able to tell that a person is here from a revivify spell?
Using detect magic as it's written, I will say it could detect a recent revivify, because I think the aura of that arcane energy would still be around them. But if it happened, weeks ago or later, I don't think it would detect it. It seems to be very much written in the present state.
Okay. Cool.
But I love your creative thinking around how to use spells. I love it.
Are you two all right?
Yeah. I mean, I could do with a pick-me-up, but don't deflect if you need to, if you need help.
I don't think there's anything to help with right now. But thank you.
Did your experiment fail too? Because did you see what you were aiming to try to see?
No.
Okay.
But for me, it was something that happened quite often.
Bad stuff.
Do you two need help of any kind? Is there anything I can do presently?
I'm good.
No. You seemed angry when you woke up. And I know when I ask if you want to hit me, you don't like that. Would you like to hit the ground with the stick?
That is a very good idea. That's a very good idea. Stick. I can get a stick. And she starts looking around to find a stick. And she gives everybody a stick if she finds one.
I mean, yeah, you got a campfire, so you'll find some short logs or sticks around there.
Okay, Emilia, you first.
To hit the ground.
That's what you recommended?
She hits the ground.
Okay, roll to hit for me. We'll use an unarmed strike.
Oh, Lord. Oh, come on, mouse. Come back. Okay. 'Tis a 19.
You definitely hit the ground. You can roll damage if you want to, but you leave a nice little divot in the dirt there.
I have 0 to my damage. So I think she just very eloquently, as if she's holding her rapier, just gives a quick flish. And she hits the ground.
That was great.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to hit the ground,
Who wants
Dasha?
to go next?
Yes, I would like to hit the ground. Yeah, I will hit the ground. And how long does calm emotions last?
I think it's only 10 minutes.
Is it concentration?
Yes, it is. I probably would have lost concentration, so it's probably over, isn't it?
You moved it to you, didn't you? At some point? Because you chose to fail.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
So yeah, it would have been broken on everyone else.
Yeah, I think when Dasha hits the ground, it's like a couple like wham, wham. And the third one, she kind of loses herself for a second. And it's a real, like you can imagine her actually holding a sword and she just like drives it down into the ground and a wave of energy comes off. And it's like not the normal sunset type energy. And it's going to have a wrathful smite in there.
Okay. I will say, just for flavor, roll a hit for me.
Okay. That is a... I'm guessing this is just like an improvised weapon. So
We can just do like a unarmed attack too, since it might be right at the top of the list.
Okay, 14.
Yeah, you smash around. And do you pump a smite into this?
Yeah, I don't think it's intentional, but I think it happens.
Yeah. And the effect is like you said. I would even say that the force of this sends this burst of wind towards the fire, and it flares up for a moment as well as it gets this sudden hit of oxygen.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Ah, my stick broke.
I can mend
Yeah,
it.
my stick.
It's okay. Maybe after this I will throw rocks. Ember, you need stick smash time?
Stick smash time. 8!
It's the ground. You hit it. I was just, if someone rolled a 1, you were going to smash your toe, but you're good.
The ground dodges.
I also have a 0 to my damage. So I think when Ember hits, you can tell that there is a little bit of rage there after casting calm emotions, but it's almost like she doesn't want to be a violent person. And I think she's not hiding it well, especially after telling, like, I was bred to kill things like you. Ember is very much, I don't want to hurt anything. And I think you can see that hesitation before she hits the ground. Of like, what if there's something living under there and I heard it? And she pauses and it just lightly hits the ground.
Just a tiny divot. And I will say, if you look down, you'll see that there were no like earthworms or beetles under you. You're good.
I haven't done that in a very long time.
It felt good. Maybe we don't experiment often.
But it is giving us what we need. Or at least answers for the most part. We're getting valuable things out of it, but it's not pleasant getting it.
Let me be more clear. I don't want to get distracted. I want to help people. I want to do better this time. I can't keep looking at the past if it makes me want to, well, find vengeance in the present. I should not look at the rock too often.
I understand.
When Valia said that it was a cycle of empowerment, she prays to Drursana, and then Drursana gets power. Drursana gives back to the land and empowers people. It's a nice story that I would like to believe. Harmonious. It's nice. But I think there's still a part of me that does not believe that. Why give power away? If I were to pray to Drursana and Drursana were to decide not to give back, why wouldn't I take care of myself? I don't want to think that, but it's a gut feeling. I don't want to be who I was before, but it's not easy to leave parts that feel so intrinsic.
I understand that.
Would I see the rock? Not touch it.
Oh, yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Above table question. Now that we've touched this rock a few times and other people have touched it, does it look like there's more liquid in it? Does it look like it shines brighter now that we have all been sad and it's called the tear?
Oh.
If you would, as you're looking into this, would you roll me an investigation check to take a closer look at it?
Ooh. Okay. A dirty 20.
Yeah, very good. The odd thing about this tier is that all the different things it has elicited from all of you, all these varying different personal emotions and experiences, and what you used it for in the temple of Drursana to purify the waters there, it looks unchanged. It looks consistent. It looks like it did the day Vrax handed it to you.
She'll kind of like, with the cloth, like turn it over and such, and she's like, I mean, we've all touched it, and we call it the sad rock, but it did a good thing. So I thought maybe our sadness powered it, but it doesn't look any different. I don't know.
I wonder what other gods cried tears if this one is specifically Drursana's. Can Ember take a little bit of dirt from the ground and sprinkle it on the tear? Just see if anything happens.
Sure. Yeah. So like just soil from around the campfire and you don't, do you touch the tear yourself or do you just
She doesn't touch it at the moment.
Okay. As you sprinkle this dirt onto the tear, nothing out of the ordinary seems to happen. hits it like you would expect from a stone. It's got these curved edges, so it's likely going to quickly fall off, but it doesn't look out of the ordinary.
Can I take the zest and just touch it on the surface of the tear and see if anything happens?
Zest, yeah. So you have like this puck almost, of this white looking substance. And so explain to me how you do this. You take it out and you...
She takes out this puck. Mal and Merv wanted the tear. And Mal was talking about how they were ensuring to keep this on the market. I'm just curious if there's going to be any interaction between the two. Like it purified the water. Does it do anything to zest?
Oh, maybe. Oh, how are we going to tell if it's pure? What if it just makes it like better drugs?
Maybe I should test this first before I stick it to the rock.
You mean take the drugs?
No. No.
No.
Used to be a party time thing, not this though.
Can I find a dead leaf?
Yeah, I mean, y'all are out by some wooded areas. You can find any sort of like, any kind of twigs, sticks, leaves, whatever you need.
Can I put the dead leaf on the tear?
You can. And I'm assuming not touching the tear yourself, just the leaf touches it. Yeah. I would say similar to the dirt, it seems to have a very benign effect. If the leaf is dead, it's going to like crunch a little bit as you push it into it, but what you would expect from touching anything with a dead leaf.
Still dead leaf.
And try the zest.
Okay. She'll hold the zest up. Almost like break a little piece of the puck off. Just in case it does change anything of the alchemic components. She doesn't want to lose the whole thing. And I think she has a couple from Vrax. But she'll touch like a little piece of it to the stone.
Yeah, and I would say these pucks are probably slightly smaller than like a hockey puck and about as thick. So you could crack off a piece. I will say as you crack off a piece, it is outer like substance. And it is sort of bound together somehow. But as you crack it off, you see a little bit of that dust come up in the air off of it. And you go to touch this piece to the stone, right? Okay, and as you do, you hold it there for a moment, and immediately there is no reaction, but then you start to see a little bit of smoke start to rise up from the point where the zest is touching the stone, and you start to smell sort of this weird, like chemical type of burning. And if you would, since you're close to the stone, will you roll me a Constitution saving throw?
Ooh, drugs.
+5.
9.
Okay, a 9. I will say it's just a little bit. That rage you felt earlier when you were coming down from that vision you had, it suddenly just flares up again. Like you just get irrationally angry all of a sudden. But it quickly dissipates.
Angry drugs.
Angry drugs.
But why did the tear smoke it?
It did smoke drugs.
Does the tear look okay? Does it look like the tear has changed at all? Did I drug the tear on accident?
Oh my god.
So I was just laughing at the tear smoked drugs as you pull this piece that you touch the tear with, you pull it back. The surface of the tear looks unchanged. It looks pristine. Again, from the day Vrax handed it over to you. The bit of the zest puck, the piece that you held towards it, looks charred. It looks like it's been burnt.
Wait.
That's not normal.
So did they want the tear to basically like deplete the drugs? Like eliminate it? Is that what they wanted?
They wanted people to keep using the drugs, right?
It makes zest airborne.
Oh, so they did want people to use the drugs. Or they just wanted the drugs used up, you know? What is it that they said? They said they wanted the tear to ensure what?
And I will say, Ember, if you would, roll me an... What's the best roll for it? Yeah, let's do an investigation check, if you would.
Nine plus 7 for 16.
16. I will say, I noticed you said that it turns the zest airborne, and it did through burning it, but cracking that piece off also made it scatter a bit as a powder as well. So you wouldn't be certain that that was the only thing that got the zest into the air.
What if we crushed some zest in water and then put the tear in the water? Would it purify it or explode?
I will do that though. I'll get some water. If I have to create it, I can create it. Mix just a little bit of the zest and water. And see if the tear does anything with that.
Yeah, I would say someone, one of you has water around the camp. You can find a container for it. If you're looking for something in notes, we can do a history check as well. I can fill you in.
God dang it, I got a 10.
What are you trying to remember again? Why Merv and Malin were after it?
Yeah, what Mal said they wanted it for. I remember teach someone a lesson.
What you remember, what they shared was they were supposed to teach someone a lesson, and they were supposed to ensure that Vrax kept his end of the deal. And what Vrax told you is that the person sending him, or whoever it was, sending him the zest, wanted him to continue pushing it, continue distributing it. Him breaking the deal was him not wanting to distribute it. Malin and Merv were there to ensure it continued.
Yeah. But what does that have to do with the tear? Is more so what I was trying to put together.
Yeah, you don't know if there's a relation, actually, because Malin and Merv did not come there for the tear originally. They learned of it after Vrax mentioned it as, I could give it to you for helping me. And then it was sort of this odd, and I can't remember who all saw it, but sort of this odd turn in Merv's demeanor of, you're right, that's a good idea, let's get that thing. It might be useful.
Okay.
Does the
But that wasn't their objective.
tear water do anything?
So as you put some potable water into this container and you crack off another piece, I guess, and put it down in the water. Do you mix it up or stir it or anything?
I think she would mix it up, yeah. Being little chemists with everybody.
Yeah. Experiments around the campfire. This is fun. And then you take the tear, and if you want to describe, I'm assuming you're trying not to touch it, but you want to dip it into the water or have it make contact. Okay. I would say this is a little bit more finicky. Ember, are you the one doing this?
Unless someone else wants to do it.
I can do it. It's fine.
If Emilia wants to do it, go for it.
Okay. Emilia, would you please roll me a sleight of hand check?
For sure. 16.
Okay, good. So you're able to dip, I would say probably the point of this tear, the top point, down into the water that this zest has been mixed up in. And again, zest is a white material. So as you mix it into water, it's going to look a bit murky. It does tend to murky and almost like a milky white kind of color. He would mix like Alka-Seltzer or something into. But it seems to sort of, mix into the water. It doesn't separate. It doesn't sit on the bottom. It mix in. And as you put the tear down into it, slowly, over a few seconds, the water starts to boil. It gets very hot and it starts to boil. And do you leave the tip of the tear in the water?
I look at y'all.
I don't think that's supposed to happen.
Game.
I'm gonna keep it in there.
Okay.
We're experimenting.
Okay. As you do that, you gotta see it through. As you do that, the water starts to get clearer again. This milky white color starts to go away. And it's almost like the tear is boiling the zest out of the water. And then it goes back to this clear water like when you first poured it in. And after it turns that color, the heat starts to die down. It goes from this rolling boil down to like a little simmer, down to just a container of hot water.
Whoa.
So what is in zest that is causing that? Because when we put it in the orifice at the temple, it did not boil.
Oh, who knows? Who knows?
I'm going to touch it again.
Are you sure? The last time you seemed real hurt.
Calm emotions? And if Emilia will allow, she's going to touch it.
I look at Dasha.
Okay, but it's the last time.
Last time.
Tonight, okay?
And I touch it.
So as you reach out to touch the stone again,
Calm emotions.
you calm emotions. So you're feeling rather zen. You would be a bit apprehensive reaching out to touch this based on your recent experiences with it, but calm emotions is doing what you would expect. You feel a bit more zen, and you reach out, you touch it, and as soon as you make contact, you're pulled back in. There's no gap at this point. It's almost like, as much as you remember, your arms are immediately pulled back out to that suspended position that you were in before. And at this point, you feel almost like pinpricks on your back, just like one by one, just like a small, quick stabbing pain, one by one. And you hear that voice behind you counting with each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is quick little pricks. And you see these feathers floating down to the ground below you and landing in this pool of blood. And as you continue to feel these pricks, they move from the left side of your body to the right side. And at this point, you hear the voice coming from your right side as it moves around behind you. It says, we'll get this out of you. I think we're almost there. Just a bit more pain. And you see just the beginnings of a crimson cloak coming into view on the right side before you're pulled back to the campfire with your friends.
Would you
Yes.
allow, since she has cast Calm Emotions, you said specifically there is a puddle underneath her. Can
Yes.
she use that puddle as a reflection?
I will say you can attempt to, but you're trying to see something through the puddle.
Yes, because the way Ember's kind of seeing this or trying to, it's showing us past memories for a reason, and she's trying to figure out who this is, what this is. So she casts the Calm Emotions and she's trying to use the environment to look at things that she may not have seen the first time.
Okay. If you would then, will you please roll me? I'm trying to think, there's one of two rolls I want to do for this. Let's do perception. Perception check for me.
God dang it. 13.
13. This pool of blood is starting to spread out below you, and you're fairly certain it's yours. And it's tough, it's murky. It doesn't have quite the reflective properties that other liquids do, but you're able to make out a bit of you're not quite sure if it's a reflection or if it's shadow of this figure that's walking around behind you, especially as they come to your right. But one thing you do make out is they seem to be wearing a mask, and it seems to be devoid of almost all facial features. But that's all you can make out from that.
And with Calm Emotion still being up, she explains that in detail as she comes back, just very matter-of-factly.
Real quick, as you come back, because you have Calm Emotions up, please roll at advantage, but please roll me a wisdom saving throw if you would.
+5.
30.
30. Calm Emotions is putting in the work. You feel a familiar lurch, a familiar, that pain of memory, but you're able to control yourself, and then you can proceed and tell your companions what you saw.
And I think just matter-of-factly, I think it's trying to show us something that we could not originally see. The labs are controlled by the Crimson Robes. And they are looking for a secret. I'm assuming a secret of immortality, maybe?
Oh. Immortality?
I didn't die when I was supposed to. And I am very old. But the vision continues.
Oh.
And I think she cast another calm emotions into herself at this point.
You can do that.
Do you think ours would continue, considering we died then and didn't come back until later?
I'm thinking it would, because it just picked right back up. But you do not have to touch it again. I was just curious.
I mean, it could give us answers. I could touch it again. Because if mine continues where it left off, then we can assume Dasha's would too, and then she doesn't have to touch the rock again.
I will cast calm emotions on all of us, because I can get up to 5 people. So the last time I cast it, let's just say it's on everybody.
Okay.
We're just all zen.
I love how y'all are just like doing traumatizing stuff and then using magic to calm yourself. It's almost like uppers and downers in D&D.
Yeah, seriously. There's little drugs in the mix
If anyone
too.
walks by camp, they're going to be like, these people are weird. Yeah.
Just like pounding sticks into the ground.
This is lovely. It's like a very
It's the
cathartic
witchy
experience. One minute
corner!
you're screaming. One
Yeah,
minute
it
you're
is.
like, everyone calm down.
Little puffs of smoke out of a rock.
Okay, so Ember, you cast calm emotions on everyone.
You can choose to fail it or not. It's up to you.
I'm calm.
I'll fail. Huh. I'll touch the rock.
As you go to touch the stone, the rock, the tear,
Sad rock. Angry rock.
your vision at this point, it's not a snap, it's a fade. Things start to go black around you. And you suddenly feel yourself sort of being jostled around, almost like someone's carrying you. And then you feel sort of a thump, like you've been dropped. You don't feel any pain as a result of this, just the movement of your body. And you hear sort of this creaky wheel spinning and this scrape of metal as you can feel yourself just sort of like you're traveling down a bumpy road almost. And you hear voices nearby. You hear one in particular say, it's a shame what happened to all those folks. Didn't have much of a chance to get out of there. But, what do? Accidents like that happen. And your vision starts to come to a little bit, and you can see the sky, like a dreary gray sky above you. And as your head sort of lolls a bit to the side, you don't have control over your body at this moment. Your head sort of lolls to the side a bit, and you see a hand, like a very gray, clammy looking hand. And you see a bit of a leg. You see maybe bits of hair as well. And then suddenly you're lurched forward, like you're dumped forward. And you roll down this dirt hill into this ditch. And you see other bodies scattered alongside that look gray, clammy. Some are charred. Some are now misshapen. Some are badly deformed by what appears to be fire. And then everything just starts to fade again. And you're back at the campfire.
Well, my vision did continue, but I didn't learn anything new.
Mal
I
was
didn't see
not there?
anybody in a...
Oh, Mal wasn't there the second time?
No, this time I was on a cart with all the other dead bodies, and the grave people were saying that sucks and accidents happen, and then they dumped our bodies in a ditch, and that was it.
Oh.
So I didn't see Mal or anyone in a red cloak or anything.
A ditch. Not a grave, a ditch.
It was a ditch, right? Just down a hill in a ditch.
Yeah, almost like a sort of mass grave.
Yeah, there were other bodies too. At any point, did I see, like, my body? Like, any part of me? Like, my hand, my hair, what I was wearing?
You didn't that time, but I will say in the previous vision, when that person pulled you towards the door, you could see your hand jut out in front of you, and it looked very similar to how your hand would look now, but a bit more color to the skin, a bit more flushed than your typical complexion nowadays.
It would make sense if they didn't bury me. It would make it easier for Father to have found me.
Did any of the other bodies look familiar?
You can roll a history check for me.
Yippee! 12.
They did not look familiar, no.
No, nothing comes to mind. Did I see the person who pulled my hand, or did I not get a good glimpse of them the first time?
You didn't get a good glimpse of them, no.
Okay.
It was all a bit hectic.
No.
How would your father have known where the ditch was?
I don't know how he gathers his bodies. I just know that sometimes the grunts come home with them, and that's it.
Ember will look at Dasha. Do you think he hired Merv?
Yeah. I think there was something there. A man who needs bodies. Did you say that the other bodies were like recognized? You said they weren't recognizable. Were they in bad shape?
Some of them were. Some of them were burned, and others were worse. Some looked just gray and dead.
Okay.
But Father usually doesn't come home with lots of bodies. He's very particular.
Yeah,
so what would
that's what
be the point in burning a whole tavern?
Oh, because it happens.
It was an accident. That's a lot to think about before I meet this man. I think I'm still holding firm that I would rather not touch the rock again, if that is okay with you all. That is okay.
Okay.
Calm emotions again on all of us.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to take a breather. If I find more dandelions, will you make more tea?
Always.
All right. I will be back soon. I think it's like an hour where she's just like taking a walk.
And there's plenty of space around. Again, you can go most of the tree line if you want and get away from the crowds.
Yeah, I think after about 10 minutes, you probably hear like a scream off the road, just like a very angry scream. Maybe a few like birds flying up. But that's the only one. And she'll come back to camp. I found a few dandelions. I don't know if you can use this purple flower. I think it's called a thistle. And then I got some bark. Not from hitting trees or anything like that. I just found the bark.
Ember will take all of that and start making a tea with it.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah.
Did you hear that weird bird scream?
It was a very weird
Oh
bird.
yeah. It was a crow. It was like a big crow.
They can mimic a lot of noises.
Yeah.
They make this guac sound.
Yeah, this one was just so big and felt so betrayed. Just needed to let it out, you know?
I hope he feels better.
Yeah. Me too.
Ember will finish making the tea and make sure that everybody has some. And then I'm going to hit the hay first today, if that's okay.
Emilia, do you have anything to say about hitting the hay?
I'm not angry anymore, and I don't think we have any hay to hit. Do you need another stick?
Not for this one.
Okay.
Just gonna go punch it with my bare hands when I find it.
Okay. Thank you for the tea. I can take first watch. I guess, Emilia, whenever you're awake, you can come let me know.
Okay. And do we settle down for the end of the first day? A very busy, impactful first day.
We touched so many things so many times.
Yep, you touched rocks, you touched grass, you touched flowers.
Drugs.
Drugs, you touched drugs. You hit some hay.
Yep.
Before Ember goes to sleep, would you allow me to do something?
Sure, go for it.
I think Ember is going to set out her holy symbol. And then she's going to draw in the dirt the symbol of necrosix. And then Skaloth's symbol. And I think she's going to draw a line between all of them to make like a triangle to try to connect the three. And then try to do a prayer and ask, how am I supposed to worship life when there are so many beings out there trying to take it, trying to hurt it? Am I truly devout to living things if I let those live who want to destroy it? As she connects the three.
Okay. Would you please roll me, at advantage, though I don't think Ember needs advantage for this, a religion check?
Okay, that is a 17 on the die. Am I within 5 feet of Dasha? To go to bed?
I don't know how close you sleep. Probably,
okay.
yeah.
All right, so that is...
You just reach your hand out like,
Oh, well,
okay.
never mind. That's a save. That's a save. Never mind. This is a check, not a save.
Right, this is a check.
So that is a 17 plus 12 for a 29.
29. I was going to say you could guidance too, but you really don't need it. With a 29, as you say this prayer, and you're praying to Drasana, right? To make sure I understand.
Almost like she's praying to all three.
Praying to all three. Okay.
Hence the reason she tried to connect the holy symbol with the other signs.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. There's a moment of intense quiet as you utter the last words of that prayer. And I don't know at what volume you're doing this, if it's internal, if you're saying it out loud, but as you do that, the night around you seems to almost like someone's turning down a volume knob. Everything gets very quiet. And you hear not a spoken voice, but it's almost like you understand words within your head, but you don't know the source. It's not that same familiar feeling of when you pray and connect to Drasana. It's almost like an amalgamation of all three. And what you hear is, often protecting life requires death.
And is that all it says?
That's all you hear.
I think then just quietly, then please give me the power to protect it. And I will make sure your will is done.
You feel a sense of no words, no verbal response. Some sort of sense of confirmation. But you're not quite sure who or what you just communed with.
With that high of a religion check, did it feel like it wasn't one of the three?
It felt very much like one or two or all of the three. But you're not quite sure. At least one of the three is the best way I can put it.
Okay. And then with getting some kind of confirmation, I think she'll go to sleep.
Okay. Who's on first watch?
I am.
Okay, if I could ask you to please roll me a perception check.
That is a perception 15.
Okay. Calm, quiet evening. You've had your emotions sort of rocketed all around today. Excited, calmed. You had a bit of a cathartic walk earlier as well. You don't see anything out of the ordinary. Typical crowds thinning out along the road. Lamps being snuffed out as people, make their sleep for the evening. And then you didn't touch the stone again, like your companions. You still chew on that memory you had earlier and that searing pain. And if you would, roll me a history check at advantage as you sit by that quiet campfire.
Okay.
14.
14. Let's see. Okay. As you're sitting there on an otherwise calm night, you feel that pain one more time. You hear that voice one more time. And that pain becomes real. And you actually take 2 points of piercing damage. And you feel this sort of like wetness, almost like blood, under your armor. And then suddenly, it becomes crystal clear in your head. A name. The name of this person. Noyrys. And I'll message you how to spell that. And who it is. But this name suddenly comes rushing back, a name you have not heard in a very long time. As this memory hits you and this pain hits you, that's where we'll end the session tonight. And we'll pick back up with the effects of that memory in the next day, next time.
Thank you so much for watching Session 6 of Ascension. If you enjoyed this and you're excited for the next episode, please make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you'll be notified when it's posted. Also, please consider checking out our players' social media profiles linked in the description below. Until next time.